So, the Transformers 1 Spanish dub. Initially, I wasn't gonna make a video on this, but the more I looked into it, the more I figured I was looking at an iceberg of pure insanity, involving star talent, loss of money, fraud, firings, and the Mexican cartel. So, yeah, this is gonna be a fun one. Hey guys, the Fire Brothers here. It's just me, my brother couldn't be here today because he is skateboarding in Ohio. Jeez, Squeaker really gets around. I'm pretty sure only a few months ago he was torturing Lorenzo or something. Anyways, these are the jokes. I hope you guys are enjoying them. So anyways, we all know the story of Transformers 1, the unfortunate fate that befell this movie. It was terrible decision after terrible decision that kind of sealed this movie's fate despite it being really good. And typically, that's where the story will end, right? You know, the movie came out, flop, that's it. But surprisingly enough, we have more news about Transformers 1 and quite a bit of controversy. So in this video, I kind of wanted it to be a big summary of everything that's been going on with the Spanish side of things. Because trust me, it's quite hilarious and at the same time, it's just bizarre. But before we continue, I want to say that the reason why I care so much about this is because first of all, I really like Transformers and it's kind of my job to like report on these news. And the second of all, I've always been an advocate for talking about other, you know, aspects of the fandom, not just the English community, but other, you know, Transformers communities out there around the world. And today we're doing just that. So sit back, relax, grab some popcorn, cause oh my god,
this is going to be juicy.
So this is before the movie got released. The Transformers 1 Spanish dub was being handled by Paramount Mexico, which they usually take care of like the Latin American side of things. And now the reason why this is also very important is because, you know, the Transformers 1 box office, the final box office was not only reliant on the domestic, you know, money that it earns in the States, but also all around the world. And the Spanish market is actually quite a big one. So Paramount Mexico eventually released a trailer for Transformers 1, and it sounds pretty good. You know, people are liking it, some people don't like the animation style and whatever, you know, it's all well and good. And then, only less than a few months later, guess what happens? They release more clips, but the voices sound different.
¿Y esto cómo se usa? ¿Y esta cosa cómo se usa? ¿Y las ruedas? ¡Necesito ruedas! ¡Oh! ¿Y las ruedas? ¡Necesito ruedas!
Paramount Mexico did the bizarre decision to change some of the professional voice actors with star talent. And now what I mean by star talent, think of it like TikTokers, YouTubers, that kind of stuff. People with not really any formal training but are just given the job just because of their popularity. But needless to say, this caused a huge uproar within the Spanish community, with people wanting these two gone. Now, there was also a bit of controversy around one of them because he's an alleged PDF file. And now, this is an alleged thing, it hasn't been proven, no one has been arrested, so until that happens, we can't say one way or the other. There are some sus clips about him, but that's as far as I can condemn it, and that's about it. So please don't go out of your way to harass anyone. But needless to say, the backlash was insane, and people were demanding for someone's head on the plate, and for Paramount to do the right thing and get some actual trained professional voice actors to make dubbing for this movie. Paramount responded by blocking anyone who had any sort of criticism. Idiots! Wow, you know, times like this, it really must suck to be Paramount Mexico's community manager. Having tons of people demanding the OG dub to be released, drama, answering questions 24/7. You know what he could have used? That's right, folks. Full disclosure, today's video is sponsored by BetterHelp. Nowadays, life seems to be becoming increasingly more complex. Sometimes it's tough juggling one's social life and their digital life. It can be a bit overwhelming having to deal with all of this. Personally, I have a lot of things I want to do, but sometimes finding the motivation and not getting burned out from work can be difficult. Lately, I've been struggling with those very feelings. Trying to stay motivated, trying to improve so I can be my best self. However, my anxiety and bad habits can sometimes slow me down or hamper my progress. Personally, I don't have that many people to talk to about these things since I don't really want to burden them with my issues. But this is where BetterHelp swoops in. It can help individuals by providing online therapy services with qualified personnel. They are prepared to listen to you and help you work through these issues, allowing you to speak freely and help tackle these feelings that hold you back in life. Therapists are trained to work around your schedule so as to not disrupt your personal life and even construct a personalized timeline of progress to make sure you're constantly improving. Trust me, seeing your progress sure helps you stay motivated. Someday. So start fresh any day of the year with BetterHelp. Click the link in the description or go to betterhelp.com/thefirebrothers and get 10% off your first month of therapy. Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. And now, back to the Mexican dub. And from what I've seen, it looks like Paramount Mexico was trying to coax off the tails of these two star talents. You know, they're like popular, so they wanted to get fans of these two to actually, you know, go and see the movie because of them. Not because of the product, because of these two. That's kind of what also Paramount tried to do for the English side of things. They cast the famous actors and the like in order to get people, you know, onto seats, instead of getting professionally trained voice actors. And look, while I actually really do like the Transformers 1 voice cast for the most part, you have to admit that you could have gotten the same amount of quality, if not better, had you actually hired someone more professional. Regardless, this still caused a huge uproar within the Spanish community. Paramount Mexico started, like, you know, hiding comments on their YouTube channel, deleting comments on Twitter and Facebook. So needless to say, they did knew what was going on, but they chose to do nothing about it. Eventually, the movie came out. It underperformed in Latin America because most people kind of boycotted the movie because they didn't want to go see it with the star talent dub. A lot of Spanish speakers went to watch the movie in English. Which I think that is hilarious. Like, the Spanish dub is so bad that people wanted to watch it in another language that wasn't Spanish. But unfortunately, this kind of hurt the movie more since English dubs in Mexico and other, you know, Latin American countries was severely limited. So needless to say, the movie underperformed. While critics praised the animation and everything, when it came to the chosen Paramount dubbing, it kind of got a bit torn to shreds. A lot of other influencers that were invited to see Transformers 1 early, you know, not because they voiced in the movie, but just to speak about it, did provide criticism to Paramount and a bunch of like the head honchos of the company and told them that, hey, you know, the movie was really good, but like that dubbing, yeah, I don't like it. And it seems like they actually listened to that part because someone at the top got wind of that. And guess what? They fired the marketing manager. So yeah, that's about it. Ending of the story, nothing else changed until recently. So earlier last month, a huge discovery was made. Some random Transformers fan was on a Latin American plane, you know, headed somewhere, I don't know, when all of a sudden, they got the urge to watch some Transformers 1. So they turned on the TV and started watching, only to find out
La era de los primes ha terminado. No más falsos profetas. Síganme y nadie los volverá a engañar nunca. ¡Levántense!
the dub was completely different. There were no star talents, and the original voice actors from the first trailer were actually the ones voicing Bumblebee and Megatron. And not only that, it sounded much better. Now this is really weird for a variety of reasons. First of all, if you go to Paramount Plus and try to watch the movie in Spanish, you're not gonna get this dub. And second of all, this just came out randomly in some random airplane TV. Like, do you realize how weird that is? As soon as this got mentioned, other people started reporting on the quote-unquote better dub also being found in several planes. It was even found in some random German airline at some point, which...
Okay.
And now, before I explain what exactly is going on here, I need to give some backstory. So originally, there was some rumor that the Mexican cartel paid Paramount off to have some star talents do the dubbing for the movie. And now, this was just kind of bizarre. You know, people kind of just, you know, took this as a joke, like a little, oh, ha ha ha, Paramount was bribed to do this. That's the only possible explanation. But as it turns out, that might actually be more likely than what we think. So very recently, and by recently I mean literally last month, apparently it was confirmed that the dub that was the original official Spanish dub, the one with the, you know, professional voice actors, was gonna be the actual dub for the movie. Like, they actually filmed the entire movie. That's the one that was found on the plane. And that at some point, like before the release of trailer 2 of Transformers 1, the original dub was changed to the star talent one. Now, this makes literally no sense because the movie was already finished. If this is true, and this comes from a reliable source that, you know, it's a Paramount insider, then this means that Paramount went out of his way to actively make the movie worse by hiring star talents. Now that was not needed. You know, hiring those guys will have taken extra money. So it literally makes no sense from a financial standpoint. Unless the manager was bribe. Because then the Star Talents wouldn't cost as much to get them into the movie. Because that's also one of the reasons as to why some companies don't hire unionized voice actors and hire ones that are not part of a union, because you don't have to pay them as much. You get to pay them less and you get to save on money. Now, I do admit that this is just, a rumor, like it hasn't been 100% confirmed, but it does fit and it does make sense, and it answers some of the questions that we had about the Spanish dub, like why it was changed in the first place. And as the insanity of this was ramping up and people were furious, demanding blood, asking for the actual dub to be released, they started campaigns after campaigns trying to get Paramount's attention, demanding to save TF1 for the Spanish community. It was pandemonium until the full truth about Transformers 1 came out thanks to the original voice actor for Megatron, who posted this video, and I'm just gonna play out what it says and put the translation at the bottom.
La verdad es que esa película se hizo en un estudio que se llama Plan B desde un principio, y el cliente eligió a los Star Talents que iban a interpretar a los personajes, pero el director, que es Alan Velázquez, insistió mucho en que también los personajes que hacíamos, a los actores que hacemos sus personajes, grabáramos nuestra interpretación. Y así fue, se hicieron las dos versiones y el cliente eligió cuál de las dos era la que iba a salir en cines. Así que ahora lo que haga el cliente con la versión en plataformas o la versión que están nuestras voces, pues ya es decisión de él. Esperemos que la pasen en alguna plataforma o también que hagan un reestreno. Estaría muy padre, pero eso ya depende de ellos. Pero para que sepan realmente qué fue lo que pasó, y sí, tuve la oportunidad de hacer también ahí a Megatron y compartir con Niji y con todos mis compañeros. Así que, pues gracias a todos, un saludo por su interés y lo que han escrito, los mensajes que me han mandado, todos los memes que han hecho, que además me han divertido mucho, y esto fue lo que pasó. Entonces, pues gracias a Plan B, gracias a Alan Velázquez, gracias a la productora que también pues nos dio la oportunidad de interpretar nuevamente a Megatron.
So yeah, it looks like the rumors that we heard from before are partly true. Yeah, there were two dubs that were made, and for some godforsaken reason, Paramount wanted to cash in on the fame of these Star Talents, even though the dub was clearly inferior. I'm not entirely sure about the Mexican cartel part. I feel like that's just kind of sensationalizing, in all honesty, and it probably is. But then again, not to be stereotypical, but corruption in, places like Mexico is something that does happen. I know it gets memed a lot, and, some people will say it's kind of, a cliche, but that's a thing that genuinely does happen. So that could always have been the case too. So mystery solved, more or less. Well, this is solved. Now we know the full story, more or less, and potential behind the scenes dealing with a certain cartel that might or might not be involved. Where does this leave us? With an inferior Spanish dub for Paramount Plus and other places, and a much better dub reduced to a very niche audience. However, this is not where this bizarre story will end. Dude, you gotta love the Spanish community. Like, they are some tough motherfuckers. A couple of fans infiltrated an airline and actually managed to record the audio from the plane. And after so much behind the scenes hacking and intense audio mixing, they managed to mix the audio from the plane with the HD version of the film. They managed to make the quote-unquote perfect dub of Transformers 1, where it gets rid of the Star Talents and adds the original audio from the original dubbing. Now, look, I'm not saying you should pirate stuff, like that's not okay, that, I need to say that, but you have to admit that it's kind of impressive that they went out of the way to do that. Is the audio perfect? No, of course not. There are flaws here and there and it doesn't sound the best, so there's still people out there that are demanding Paramount Pictures Mexico to actually release the good dubbing of this movie. Whether they will do it or not, we don't know, but as far as we know, they're still blocking people who asked about the original dub. And this just comes in, apparently a few days ago, they actually managed to get the full-on HD audio from the airline. I don't know how they did it, but they actually managed to get it from the airline. So now there's a much better version of Transformers 1 for the Spanish Latin American community without the Star Talents. So this is both good and bad. And now the reason why I say this is both good and bad is because, yes, I'm happy for the Latin American, community that they managed to achieve this. It's honestly kind of insane that that they went through all this hassle and actively achieved this. It's kind of impressive in all honesty. But at the same time, this also means that Transformers 1 is now even more pirated than usual. I don't know if you guys remember this, but one of the reasons why Transformers 1 also underperformed at the box office was because it was pirated to hell. Apparently, according to some of the reports, the English dub was actually really pirated, and people actually just saw it in the comfort of their homes and other pirated websites instead of watching it in a movie theater. Now, the same thing is happening with the Spanish dub. People are not gonna go to Paramount Plus and watch the movie there. People are gonna pirate it and watch the better version that they can get from this, which is honestly very unfortunate, and all of this could have been avoided had Paramount Mexico just released the original dub. So in a way, that cost Paramount a lot of money, especially internationally. Now look, I'm not saying by any means that the Spanish community could have saved the movie, you know. At best, I could see this number going to 200 million and that's about it. I don't think it would have made waves, even with the better dubbing, especially with the amount of competition that this movie had that year. But when the movie performed this bad, literally anything could have helped. So Paramount shot themselves in the foot for absolutely no reason. Well, unless the marketing guy actually really got paid off, which is, to be honest, even more of a possibility as more new info comes out. But alas, it is what it is. But yeah, guys, that's the full story of the insane rabbit hole that is the Spanish Latin American dub for Transformers 1. In all honesty, when I first researched all of this, I was not thinking it was gonna be that interesting. But this is the type of bizarre stories that, you know, I feel like needs to be shared with the community. Because this is honestly just so freaking insane. I have no words. Also, I want to give a shout out to this guy right here who I basically called TF Spanish guy. I will pronounce his name if I could, but he's the one that provided me most of the information and he documented most of this. So if it wasn't for him, I probably have not found out about this. So, you know, full credit goes to him. Go check him out. I will put the link to his Twitter account in the description down below if you guys are interested, or if you guys speak Spanish. But yeah, guys, that's the full story of the Transformers 1 Spanish dub. Yeah, again, pretty insane. Let me know your thoughts on this crazy Transformers tale. Like, have you listened to the Spanish dub? Do you think the Mexican cartel rumors are true? Do you think that the original dub could probably save the movie worldwide? Because I do feel like the dubbing did have, you know, some negative effects of the performance in the movie, at least in the Latin American dub. But the fact that this dubbing is just so exclusive to airlines, and now it's probably like the most pirated movie in Latin America at the moment, it's definitely gonna cost Paramount a lot of money, and that's just not gonna help them in the long run. Had they just swallowed their pride and actually listened to the people and released a better dub, I feel like we wouldn't be on this situation. Or who knows, maybe it just wasn't meant to be. Maybe it was just destiny that the Transformers 1 movie was gonna underperform regardless of whether it did good in Latin America or any other place. But regardless, I thought this was a crazy story that needed to be shared with the English community. So I at the very least hope that this brought you some entertainment for today, because I know it sure did me. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for this video. Hopefully you all enjoy. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to that annoying YouTuber stuff that the algorithm likes so much. And I will see you guys in the next video. Stay safe, guys!